The average apartment in Tokyo measures 35 square meters, roughly 375 square feet. A family of 3 lives there. And it is immaculate, not occasionally immaculate, not company is coming immaculate. Continuously, quietly, effortlessly immaculate. No cleaning marathons on Saturday, no guilt on Sunday, no visible chaos at any point during the week. I am Keiko Nakamura. I am 72 years old. I was born into this system, and I have watched it confuse Westerners my entire life. They look at Japanese homes and assume extraordinary discipline, unusual personalities, or simply less stuff. None of these explanations are correct. The correct explanation is 12 specific habits practiced daily that prevent disorder from forming, rather than cleaning it up after it has formed. That distinction, prevention versus recovery, is the entire difference between a home that stays spotless and one that requires constant rescue. These 12 habits are entirely new territory, distinct from anything I have shared before. No familiar frameworks, no repeated concepts, pure practical content, moving quickly. Let us begin. Habit 1, the Genkan transition ritual. Every Japanese home has a Genkan, the entryway threshold where shoes are removed before entering the home proper. This is not merely cultural tradition. It is the single most effective contamination prevention measure available to any household, and its daily maintenance takes 3 minutes. Shoes carry what a University of Arizona study measured as an average of 420,000 bacterial units per square centimeter on their outer soles. E. coli, Staphylococcus, and fecal bacteria are among the most commonly found. Every step taken inside a home while wearing outdoor shoes distributes this contamination across every floor surface you subsequently touch. Japanese homes eliminate this problem entirely at the boundary, but the habit extends beyond simply removing shoes. The Genkan area itself is swept and lightly cleaned daily. Shoes are aligned precisely in their designated positions each evening. The threshold between outside and inside is treated as a genuine boundary, requiring active maintenance, not a decorative mat that accumulates dirt passively. The result is that everything inside the Genkan boundary begins each day with dramatically lower contamination than any home where shoes are worn inside. Less bacteria on floors means less bacteria transferred to hands, to surfaces, to food preparation areas. The ripple effect of this single daily 3-minute habit on the overall cleanliness of the entire home is larger than any other single intervention I know. Designate your own Genkan now. A specific mat, a specific area, a precise location where outdoor shoes are always removed. Clean this area daily. Align shoes deliberately each evening. The interior of your home will be measurably cleaner within 1 week. Habit 2, the post-meal sink reset. 3 times daily, after every meal, the kitchen sink in a Japanese home receives a complete 2-minute reset. This is not rinsing the dishes and leaving them. This is a specific, complete sequence. Hot water rinse of the entire sink basin. Light scrubbing with a dedicated sink brush that never touches dishes. Second hot water rinse and drying with a clean cloth. The Journal of Applied Microbiology has documented that the average kitchen sink harbors 500,000 times more bacteria than a toilet seat. This is not a metaphor. The place where you wash your food preparation surfaces and dishes is, in most homes, dramatically more contaminated than your bathroom. Japanese homes address this through frequency rather than intensity. Because the sink is reset after every meal, each cleaning addresses a surface that has been clean for 4 to 6 hours rather than 12 to 24 hours. The contamination load is minimal. The cleaning effort is minimal. The result is a sink that never develops the greasy film, the drain odors, or the stubborn staining that accumulate in sinks cleaned only once daily or less. The dedicated sink brush, never shared with dishwashing duty, is important. Cross-contamination between the sink basin and dishes is a genuine hygiene concern that a separate tool eliminates completely. Habit 3, the 5-minute daily bathroom. Japanese bathrooms are cleaned daily, not deeply, quickly. 5 minutes every day, no exceptions. The daily sequence covers 4 surfaces: basin wiped down, mirror given a quick cloth pass, toilet cleaned inside and out with a soft product, floor around the base dried and wiped. No aggressive chemicals required, because the surfaces are never allowed to accumulate enough buildup to need them. Research from the University of Arizona compared bathrooms cleaned daily against those cleaned weekly. Daily cleaned bathrooms showed 94% fewer bacterial colonies. The more significant finding was the timeline of bacterial growth. Within 24 hours of cleaning, bacteria begin multiplying rapidly. By day 3, the bacterial load in a weekly cleaned bathroom is nearly equivalent to what it would be if it had not been cleaned at all during the week. This means that cleaning your bathroom once weekly produces approximately 1 genuinely clean day, followed by 6 progressively less clean days. Cleaning daily produces 7 genuinely clean days. The total time investment is 5 minutes daily versus 30 minutes weekly. The daily approach costs less total time and produces dramatically superior results every single day. Implement this gradually if necessary. Begin with only the basin. After brushing your teeth each morning, 30 seconds to wipe the basin and faucet. When that is automatic, add the mirror, then the toilet. The full 5-minute sequence will be established within a month. Habit 4. Immediate dishwashing as time economy. A dish washed immediately after eating takes 15 seconds. The same dish washed 2 hours later, after food has dried and adhered, takes 2 minutes minimum. Across 3 meals daily and 7 days weekly, this arithmetic produces either approximately 25 minutes of total dishwashing time or approximately 90 minutes. The only variable is timing. Japanese culture has a concept called shitsuke, which describes discipline not as forcing yourself through unpleasant tasks, but as creating systems that make the easier behavior the correct behavior. Washing immediately is easier than washing later. The habit of immediacy is therefore not self-punishment. It is efficiency. The secondary benefit is psychological. Dirty dishes in a sink communicate unfinished business to your brain every time you pass through the kitchen. This low-level visual stress is documented in environmental psychology research as a genuine contributor to ambient anxiety. A cleared sink after every meal produces a kitchen that communicates completion rather than accumulation. Practice immediacy for 7 days without exception, regardless of fatigue or competing temptation. Measure your actual dishwashing time on day 7 against your estimate of previous time spent. The difference is consistently larger than people anticipate. Habit 5. Seiri and Saiten, the designated home system. 2 of the 5 pillars of the Japanese 5S organizational methodology, originally developed for factory and office environments, translate directly and powerfully into home management. Seiri means eliminating the unnecessary. Saiten means ordering what remains so that every object has one specific, logical, permanent home. The American National Association of Professional Organizers has documented that the average American loses 60 hours annually searching for objects misplaced within their own home: keys, glasses, phones, documents, remotes. Japanese households do not experience this problem because every frequently used object has a single designated location to which it always returns after every use. The deeper mechanism here is decision elimination. Every time you set an object down without returning it to its designated location, you are creating a future decision. Where is this now? Should I deal with it? Where does it actually belong? Each micro-decision depletes cognitive resources. Japanese home systems eliminate these decisions by making return to home automatic rather than deliberate. Begin with 5 objects used daily: keys, phone, wallet, glasses, remote. Assign each a single specific location. Practice returning each to its exact location for 14 consecutive days. After 2 weeks, the behavior is sufficiently automatic to expand the system to additional objects. The expansion happens naturally because the cognitive relief of not searching is immediately rewarding. Habit 6. Vertical clothing storage. Japanese clothing storage uses the vertical folding method in which garments are folded into compact rectangles and stored standing upright side by side rather than stacked horizontally. The visual effect is that every item in every drawer is visible simultaneously without disturbing any other item. The practical consequence is the elimination of what I call the transitional chair phenomenon. Every home with horizontal stacking develops a surface, usually a bedroom chair, where clothing that is neither dirty enough for the hamper nor organized enough for the drawer accumulates indefinitely. This pile grows until it constitutes a visual focal point of disorder that environmental psychology research directly correlates with reduced sleep quality and elevated cortisol levels. Vertical storage eliminates the transitional pile because returning clothing to storage is as fast and simple as removing it. Open drawer, see all items, place item upright in its space. Close drawer, 15 seconds. There is no friction, no effort involved in correct storage, and therefore no accumulation of incorrectly stored items. The full transition to vertical storage requires one session of approximately 20 minutes to refold existing inventory. Maintenance thereafter is 5 minutes per laundry load. The bedroom gains a quality of restfulness that follows directly from eliminating the visual disorder of horizontal accumulation. Habit 7. Preventive weekly maintenance scheduling. Japanese households dedicate a fixed weekly block, typically Sunday morning, to preventive maintenance tasks that most Western households address only reactively when something fails or becomes visibly problematic. The preventive maintenance list includes air conditioning filters checked and cleaned, ventilation grills wiped, loose fixtures tightened, squeaking hinges lubricated, smoke detector batteries verified, appliance interiors briefly inspected and cleaned. Each individual task takes 2 to 5 minutes. The full weekly session runs 30 to 60 minutes. The economic mathematics of this habit are stark. An air conditioning unit with a clean filter runs 30% more efficiently than one with a dirty filter and has a service life of 15 years rather than 8. The difference in electricity cost and replacement cost over a decade represents thousands of dollars saved through 30 minutes monthly of filter maintenance. The same economics apply to every appliance and fixture in your home. Preventive maintenance costing minutes prevents failures costing hundreds or thousands of dollars and the significant disruption of living without functional equipment. Create a monthly maintenance list of 5 items. Schedule the first Sunday of each month as your fixed maintenance session, 45 minutes non-negotiable. Your home will thank you with a decade of uninterrupted function. Habit 8. Motonai, object care as daily practice. Motonai is a Japanese concept describing the feeling of regret over waste or the squandering of an object's remaining value. Applied to daily home life, it manifests as a practice of genuine care for the objects you own. Not obsessive care, appropriate care. The regular maintenance that extends object life and prevents the deterioration that makes replacement necessary. Shoes cleaned and properly stored after each wearing last 5 years rather than 2. Clothing washed carefully and dried correctly retains its shape and color through hundreds of washes rather than degrading rapidly. Cookware seasoned and dried properly after each use maintains its non-stick surface indefinitely. Books stored upright rather than in compressed stacks retain their structural integrity for decades. The secondary effect of motenai practice is a changed relationship with purchasing. When you genuinely care for what you own, you develop appreciation for it that reduces impulse acquisition. Objects well maintained retain their value and function. there is less desire to replace them with new versions because they continue to serve well. The result is a home with fewer objects, better maintained, each genuinely valued rather than casually used and thoughtlessly replaced. Choose 3 objects you use daily. For 1 month, maintain each deliberately, clean after each use, store correctly, repair minor damage immediately. Observe the condition of these objects at the end of the month and compare it to how they would normally look. Then expand this care to additional objects as the habit establishes itself. Habit 9, the clean workspace closure. Every Japanese work area, whether professional or domestic, is closed properly at the end of each session. No papers left scattered, no used cups remaining, no tools displaced from their locations. 5 minutes of deliberate organization returns the workspace to its ready state before the session ends. Princeton University research has documented that visual disorder in your immediate environment competes directly with the task at hand for attentional resources. Your brain continuously processes environmental information, including disorder, and this processing consumes cognitive capacity that would otherwise be available for productive work. A disordered workspace does not merely feel unpleasant, it measurably reduces your cognitive performance while you occupy it. Japanese workspace closure practice means that every work session begins in a cleared, organized environment. The cognitive benefit of beginning in order rather than clearing order before beginning compounds across every work session throughout a week. The total productivity gain from this single habit is larger than most people expect from something requiring only 5 minutes daily. Before ending any work session today, take 5 minutes. Everything to its location. Surfaces cleared. No cups, no scattered materials. The person who returns to this space tomorrow will begin immediately rather than spending the first 10 minutes of their session managing yesterday's disorder. Habit 10. The 1-minute rule without exception. Any task requiring less than 1 minute is completed immediately rather than deferred. This rule, practiced without exception, prevents the accumulation that creates the appearance of a disordered home. Hanging a coat instead of dropping it on the sofa, 30 seconds. Returning scissors to their drawer after use, 15 seconds. Wiping a cooking splash from the stovetop while it is still fresh, 20 seconds. Placing a glass directly in the dishwasher rather than beside the sink, 10 seconds. Each individual instance is genuinely trivial. The pattern of deferral is not trivial. 10 deferred 1-minute tasks are 10 displaced objects. 100 deferred 1-minute tasks are what a home looks like when it appears to have exploded. Japanese homes look the way they do because 1-minute tasks are never added to a mental list of things to do later. They are done. The psychological mechanism behind deferral is also important to understand. Each second that passes between noticing a task and completing it increases the psychological weight of the task. Something that takes 30 seconds to do feels like a significant chore after 2 days of deferral. Done immediately, it is genuinely nothing. Japanese home practice exploits this by collapsing the time between noticing and doing to 0. Practice this for 3 days. Every time you notice something requiring under 1 minute, do it immediately without adding it to any list or planning to return to it. The transformation in your home's baseline appearance within 72 hours is reliably surprising. Habit 11. Floor care as daily ritual. Japanese floors, typically wood, tile, or tatami with minimal carpet, are swept and mopped daily. Not because visible dirt has accumulated, because daily maintenance prevents the accumulation that makes dirt visible. Research on household dust composition is instructive here. The average home accumulates approximately 20 kilograms of dust annually. The composition of that dust includes dead skin cells, dust mite populations, and their waste products, pollen, mold spores, textile fibers, and airborne bacteria. 60% of this material eventually settles on floor surfaces. By the time dust is visible, the accumulation is already substantial. Daily floor care for a 50 square meter apartment requires approximately 8 minutes. Sweep first to remove loose particulates. Mop with hot water and a mild cleaner using parallel forward strokes that avoid recrossing cleaned areas. Allow to dry before foot traffic resumes. Japanese tradition understands floor cleaning as meditation, the physical rhythm of sweeping, the visual feedback of the floor clarifying, the sensory experience of clean surfaces underfoot, all constitute a form of attentive presence that produces genuine calm. This is not philosophy imposed on a cleaning task. It is a description of the actual neurological experience of mindful physical activity. Your nervous system responds to the order you are creating by settling into a corresponding internal order. Begin with daily sweeping only for 1 week. Note the reduction in dust on surrounding surfaces. Add mopping every other day. Progress to daily naturally. Habit 12. Osoji, the rotating deep attention practice. The 12th habit is the one that holds all others in long-term function, and it is the least known outside Japan. Osoji translates as great cleaning, but its practice is not what the translation suggests. It is not a seasonal deep clean marathon. It is a monthly rotating practice in which one specific area of the home receives 2 to 4 hours of complete, thorough attention. Month 1. Behind and beneath all furniture. Month 2, all kitchen drawer interiors. Month 3, the full wardrobe. Month 4, beneath beds and in bed storage. Month 5, all windows inside and out. Month 6, the bathroom from ceiling to floor, including grout, fixtures, and ventilation. And so on, rotating through every area of the home across the year. No area is neglected indefinitely. Nothing accumulates to a level of disorder or contamination that requires extraordinary intervention because each area receives thorough attention at least once annually. The chaos of a home that has not been deeply addressed in years is simply not possible within this system. But Osoji is more than a cleaning schedule. Psychology research on deep cleaning as a deliberate, intentional practice documents significant reductions in anxiety and depression among people who practice it regularly. The mechanism is not simply environmental improvement, though that is real. It is the experience of competence, the sense of exerting meaningful control over one's environment, the quiet satisfaction of caring thoroughly for the space that shelters you. Japanese households have among the lowest rates of compulsive hoarding in the developed world. This is not accidental. It is the direct result of these 12 habits practiced consistently, with Osoji providing the structural maintenance that ensures no area of the home is ever allowed to drift beyond recovery. Open your calendar now. Designate the last Sunday of each month as your Osoji session. Write a list of 12 home areas, one for each month. Make this appointment non-negotiable. 2 hours monthly is a small investment for a home that never deteriorates beyond the reach of regular care. The system as a whole, add the time these 12 habits require, approximately 45 minutes daily plus 2 hours monthly. Compare that to the Western pattern of 3 to 5 hours of recovery cleaning each weekend, fighting accumulated disorder, stubborn staining, and the psychological weight of an environment that has been out of control all week. The Japanese investment is not larger, it is differently distributed. Small daily amounts rather than periodic large amounts. Prevention rather than recovery. Maintenance rather than rescue. The psychological difference between these two approaches is as significant as the practical difference. Recovery cleaning is experienced as burden, as failure caught up with, as working against an environment that has gotten ahead of you. Daily maintenance is experienced as care, as the quiet rhythm of a life in order, as the unremarkable background of days that begin in calm and end in calm. Your environment communicates continuously with your nervous system. A disordered environment activates your stress response. An ordered environment does the opposite. Japanese people do not live in ordered homes because they have unusual personalities or unlimited time. They live in ordered homes because they practice these 12 habits, and the habits produce the order automatically, the way any well-designed system produces its intended result when operated correctly. The system is available to you. It begins with one habit, practiced for 2 weeks until it is automatic, then one more. In 6 months, all 12 are running. In a year, you will not remember what it felt like to spend your weekend recovering from your own home.